Hey, don't poo-poo this win. Lions were impressive on Sunday.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, what's good, everybody? It's another week of Locked On Lions right here in the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Matt Derry with you on a Victory Monday, September 15th into Tuesday, September 16th. Thank you for making us your first listen, everybody, and checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. That includes on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. Thank you to the everydayers that are out there that either watch the podcast on YouTube or listen on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Appreciate all of you that are with us. Our everyday listeners mean so much to me. Today, noticed on Apple Podcasts, we're in the top 110 of all sports podcasts. Shout out to my guy, Joe Marino with Locked On Bills, the folks at Locked On Auburn, Peter Bukowski, Locked On Packers. All of us were in there, and that means you guys care and that you're into the show, and appreciate all of you for checking us out. Today on the show, I can't believe there's some people that think this was not an impressive win yesterday. The Lions put up 50. They hung a 50 piece on Chicago. I'm not going to poo-poo it. We'll get into that coming up. Dan Campbell handed out a ton of props to a variety of players on his roster today. Named like 15 guys at his Monday press conference. We got a Marcus Davenport update, or should we call him Marcus Davenhurt? Yes, a shout out to a friend of mine that threw that one at me. PFF grades, we got to do that today. Lions fans with some language yesterday. We'll talk about that. And also at the very end of the show, Jeff Rieger from The Ticket went toe-to-toe with Ben Johnson yesterday. We will get into that as well right here on Locked On Lions. A lot to get into, but tomorrow Ben Raven's going to join us. Covers the Lions, of course, for mlive.com. We'll have Ben on the show tomorrow. Thursday, crossover, Locked On Ravens, Locked On Lions, brought to you by Prize Picks with Kevin Ostreicher, who hosts the Locked On Ravens pod. Detroit at Baltimore next Monday night at 8:15 for Monday Night Football. All right, it's Victory Monday. And, you know, I read, I see everything on social media. I get the texts. I listen to the radio. I listen to other podcasts. And I'm sorry, but I cannot downplay what happened yesterday. Am I sitting here telling you after yesterday's 52-21 win and shellacking of the Bears that the Lions are going to the Super Bowl? No, I'm not doing that. All right. Philadelphia just went into Kansas City and won. Green Bay's won 2 games against 2 playoff teams from a year ago, Detroit and Washington. All right. The Rams are off to a 2-0 start. They look good. Boy, if the Rams win this week and the Colts win this week, next week, Rams, Colts, 3-0 bowl, that would be interesting. Shout out to Indy, man. That was a huge win yesterday for them. Got some help, certainly, from the officials, but the Broncos guy did use leverage and everything else. But regardless, I'm not going to go overboard over one game, just like I didn't tell you the season was over after they got walloped by the Packers. All right, I'm not going to tell you that this team is Super Bowl bound after beating Chicago yesterday. But you can't tell me that yesterday was not impressive. I know it's the Bears. I know Chicago is a laughing stock. I know they've been a laughing stock. All right, the Bears have been bad forever. They suck. And that defense looked like it quit in the fourth quarter. Lions were doing and punishing them and doing whatever they wanted. All right, but I'm not going to downplay this. What the Lions did yesterday against a pretty darn good defense in Chicago and against a team that was coming in with something to prove and trying to win one for their head coach was really, really solid. It was really, really cool. And it goes to show talent still wins games. You can have the greatest coach of all time. All right. When Bill Belichick lost Tom Brady, he didn't have as much talent and he didn't win. When Bill Belichick took over North Carolina football and their first game, they got mollywopped by TCU. It's because he doesn't have the talent or the material yet. He might. All right. But he's a first-year coach in the ACC. He's the GOAT, greatest ever. Well, you know what happens when you don't have talent? You don't win. All right. You don't win. Phil Jackson went places where there was talent. Not saying he wasn't a good coach, right? But it's pretty simple. You've got to have players. Yes, coaching is enormous in this sport. You cannot make mistakes. The Miami Dolphins have talent. Their coach looks like he's running a country club, right? That plays into it. I get it. But the Lions have good players. The Lions have arguably the best right tackle in football. The Lions have a really good left tackle. The Lions have two awesome running backs. They got a ton of receivers. Heck, their fifth receiver or fourth receiver, you saw what he did yesterday. Guys making one-handed catches. The defense has really good players. Aiden Hutchinson, 7 pressures yesterday from Hutch alone. The Lions had 8 as a team 2 weeks ago. Had 15 yesterday. All right, Hutchinson getting back into form. Looked like he was more explosive in that second half yesterday. More sure of himself. The linebacking core is good. The safeties are excellent. Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch are beasts. So to sit here and downplay anything that happened yesterday, it was just the Bears and it was the home opener, and I'm not doing that. They could go to Baltimore and get clobbered this week. Last time they played the Ravens, the last 2 times they played the Lions and put up over 40 points. They are facing one of the best offenses in the league. But you know what? The Lions, over the span of 3 years now, have had 4 games of 50 or more points in the last 3 years. No Lions team's ever done that before. You give Jared Goff time, he's damn good. He's a really, really good quarterback. Almost great how he's been playing over the last 4 years. So I'm excited about what I saw yesterday. No, I'm not jumping for joy and singing the Super Bowl shuffle. Not doing that. But I'm here to tell you the Lions exerted their will yesterday, and it wasn't even close. They heard the talk. And Brian Branch said it best yesterday after the game. The defensive guys felt betrayal with Ben Johnson. Now, Ben Johnson got paid $13 million to go to the Bears. All right. He's getting paid a lot of cash. He is entitled to go wherever he wants. But the Lions defenders took it personally. I think they think Ben Johnson had 1 foot out the door before the season ended last year. They wanted to put out a statement yesterday. Not only did they do that, they punked him with the stumble bum celebration after an interception. Kirby Joseph's throwing the ball to Brian Branch after stumbling. And they did that right in front of the Bears bench. You know, Ben Johnson saw that. Those guys were out for blood. And a motivated team and a team that knew they needed a win, hadn't lost 2 games in a row since 2022. That was a good win yesterday. With that win, the one big injury concern, of course, and I said it earlier, is Marcus Davenport. Great to see Marcus get a sack yesterday, but then immediately stayed down on the field with an injured shoulder. He just can't stay healthy. Today, Dan Campbell said on Davenport, they're gathering a second opinion on his injured shoulder. Quote, "We're still getting things looked at with that, so we'll see where that's at," Campbell said today in Allen Park. If Davenport is not able to go on Monday night, Tyrus Wheat, who's been inactive the last 2 weeks, who they got from the Cowboys right at the start of the season, probably will end up having to be activated. Al-Qadim Muhammad, who played very well yesterday, very well. Number 96 is starting to come on. He might also be out there in place of Davenport if, in fact, Marcus cannot play. But that was really the only big injury, as we told you on yesterday's show. We did do a Sunday pod. If you want to go back and watch my instant reaction, Brian Branch was just cramping yesterday, and that's it. So when he walked off limping and everybody's holding their breath, like, why are the starters out there in a 52-21 game? Branch is fine. He is okay. Thank goodness. All right, head coach Dan Campbell gave some love to a bunch of players today at his Monday press conference. We have the magic list, and we will read that to you. Coming up next right here on a Monday edition of Locked On Lions, Ben Raven, the fine beat writer from mlive.com, will join us tomorrow. And Locked On Lions today brought to you by Prize Picks. Hey, the daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right means cashing in. With football back, Prize Picks is the simplest and fastest way to get in on the action. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and you can turn your takes into real prizes, all in less than 60 seconds. All right, we're already looking ahead to next week, right? What are we thinking about Lamar Jackson? More or less than 270 yards passing. You can put some money down on that. What about a Jahmyr Gibbs? More or less than 1 rushing touchdown next week as the Lions take on Baltimore. All of that and more. And, of course, the game tonight for Monday Night Football if you want to get in on it. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you place your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. And Locked On Lions is sponsored by BetterHelp. We all turn to some funny places for advice sometimes. You're a barista, your barber, maybe even a random stranger in the bathroom. But not everyone is the right one when it comes to real support. That's why BetterHelp is here. With over 30,000 licensed therapists and more than 10 years of experience, BetterHelp helps you find your right match, someone clinically trained and credentialed to guide you through life's challenges. All right. Might just all start with a simple questionnaire at BetterHelp. And BetterHelp does the matching work for you on their website. And if it's not the right fit, you can switch therapists anytime at no extra cost. It's also flexible. You can join sessions online from home or on the go, which makes therapy fit into your busy schedule. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Find the one with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/LockedOn. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOn. All right, everybody. Victory Monday in the books. Lions and Bears. Detroit 52, Chicago 21 yesterday, dropping the Bears to 0-2. Division looks like it might be a 2-team race. J.J. McCarthy's got a sprained ankle, going to be out 2 to 4 weeks. So the Carson Wentz show is on full display. Next week, it's Minnesota and Cincinnati. So you've got Jake Browning against Carson Wentz. That is correct. So McCarthy has not looked good in 2 games for Minnesota. He had the one good quarter, fourth quarter against Chicago, but now he's going to be on a bum ankle for the next few weeks and rehabbing. All right, so Dan Campbell held his Monday press conference earlier today down there at 222 Rodwood Drive, the Meyer Performance Center. And he was talking about some players that stood out on the tape. And he kept going. He had 15 guys that he mentioned. On offense, Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, the entire offensive line, Amon-Ra St.Brown, Khalif Raymond, Brock Tober, the Brock Party, Brock Wright, and David Montgomery. How cool is it? David Montgomery just punishes his former team. Gotta love that. Gotta love that. And on defense, Hutch, Al-Qadim Muhammad, DJ Reed, who had some really good early in the game open tackles, Tyleek Williams, and Brian Branch. Then on special teams, he gave some love to Zach Cunningham, Al-Qadim Muhammad again, Pat O'Connor, who had a kickoff tackle, the big fella, Jacob Sailors, and Grant Stewart. 15 players that he gave some love to. And we're going to give you the PFF grades in a second. But I love to see that. And I said this yesterday, and I'll repeat myself. And let me look and sneak a peek. This is a no-brainer, and I'll mention it in a second. But Brian Branch is just a special, special talent. He is, I hate to say this because you don't want to do this too early in the season. Aiden Hutchinson is a beast. He's a god. He's the best edge rusher on the team. He's the best edge rusher this organization's had in a long time. You know, yesterday they honored Robert Porcher, all of that. But Brian Branch might be the best player on the Lions. Like, me and Peter Bukowski of Locked On Packers talked about the last couple of years how Frank Ragnow was the Lions MVP, most valuable player. And I think now it's probably Jared Goff. You've got to have a quarterback. You've got to have somebody good back there who can navigate that offense. But Brian Branch, man, is close. He is just so good. That strip yesterday of a DeAndre Swift to get the fumble, the way he hits, the way he plays the ball, his hands defensively. He could play corner, he could play nickel, he could play safety. Branch is good, man. He is just so flipping good. And good segue here. He led the Lions in their Pro Football Focus grades for yesterday. Here are the top 5 defenders from yesterday. 5th best grade, none other than Marcus Davenport at a 70.9. Second best, or 4th best, Al-Qadim Muhammad, 76.4. Aiden Hutchinson, batting 3rd, 80.8. Grant Stewart, 84.6. And Brian Branch, 91.4. Now, Stewart only played 6 snaps, so let me give DJ Reader some love at 68.9 as well. But Brian Branch with a 91.4, best grade on the team. Had to play at least 10 snaps. So the bottom 5 for the Lions, I'm going to go with bottom. Meek Robertson, 54.8. Mekhi Wingo, 54.7. Alex Anzalone, Gaines Media poster boy, 54.7. Kirby Joseph, 48.9. Terrion Arnold, 48.6. Roy Lopez, 45.8. Those are your bottom 5 Lions on defense. Offensively, again, had to play at least 10 snaps. Bottom 5 first. Let's go with Khalif Raymond, 64.1. And again, 64.1 is not bad. All right. Taylor Decker, 64. Sam Laporta, 62. Mahogany, 61.7. Tate Ratledge, a 56.2. Graham Glasgow, 56.7. So Glasgow, second lowest. Ratledge, the lowest at 56.2. And those grades aren't even bad. Highest graded Lion overall. I made a mistake. I said Brian Branch was the highest at 91.4. No. Brock Wright, 74.6. J-Mo, 74.8. Tesla, 76.4. Third best. Jared Goff, second best, 85.1. And you know who's the best. 3 touchdowns, catches everything. Amon-Ra St.Brown, Sun God, coming in at a 91.6. That dude is so good. So good. First time he had a 3-touchdown game. Got a game ball in the locker room from Dan Campbell, who also gave a game ball to, her birthday is tomorrow, Martha Firestone Ford, turns 100 tomorrow. How sweet is that? That is pretty awesome. All right, very quickly. I am not going to tell you that I am some prude. I'm not going to tell you that you can't swear ever. I've even sworn on this show and gotten in trouble with the network. All right. I drop an occasional F-bomb. I sometimes get angry. Okay. It happens. Yesterday at the game, toward the end of the game, the F Ben Johnson chants started at Ford Field. And Jared Goff was asked about it after the game and said he didn't like it. He said Ben did a lot for this city and a lot for this team, and he thought it was excessive. When did we get to a point at sporting events? And this happened during the Pistons playoffs with Jalen Brunson of the Knicks, the F Jalen Brunson chants. When did it be, F you refs comes up. The a-hole chant at refs comes up. When did this become part of the norm that we had to be dropping F-bombs as an entire stadium? When did this start happening? Why is this happening? I'm not saying that we've got to be PG or G rated at sporting events. You're going to get angry. You're going to yell stuff. But when an entire stadium is yelling that, when did that become okay? Ref, you suck. I'm fine with. All right. But the a-hole chant, the F-bombs on Jalen Brunson, on Ben Johnson yesterday, I just think it makes us look classless. We've got great fans here. This is the best sports town there is, man. the four majors, Michigan, Michigan State, the directional schools, Oakland, UDM. We've got the Detroit City FC, Shocker coming back. We got a bunch going on in this town. We really do. Do we need to be just the F-bombs and 60,000 fans doing that? I don't know. I didn't like it either. I didn't like it. So, it is what it is. But I wanted to mention that. Speaking of Ben Johnson, 97 won the tickets. Jeff Rieger, I thought, asked some good questions after the game. I saw Rieger get a little bit blistered on social media. I'm interested in your thoughts on it. I'll explain coming up next, right here on Locked On Lions. Hey, Lions fans, are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use my limited time promo code TOUCHDOWN and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You can make up to $300 a year just from buying the gas that you already needed. At first, I thought it was too good to be true, but it's totally legit. Real people are getting paid just to make their daily commutes, and you can too. Plus, you can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or even an e-gift card from Amazon and other brands. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using my limited time promo code TOUCHDOWN for limited time 25 cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code TOUCHDOWN. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. We'll play one of our calls of the day tomorrow. If you want to be our call of the day, it is simple. Go to speakpipe.com/dairy podcast page. That is speakpipe.com/dairy, DERY podcast page. Leave a voicemail. We've got some everydayers that have checked in. My guy Chubbs checked in and some others. We will pick the best one and play one tomorrow after our interview with Ben Raven from mlive.com. Lions with a big week ahead. Baltimore Ravens, 1-1. Offense has put up over 40 points the first 2 weeks, including yesterday when they even got a defensive touchdown as well from Roquan Smith, who had a monster game yesterday. Ravens hosting the Lions for Monday Night Football next Monday night, 8:15 on ABC. We'll go a little I almost said Jack Buck, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman for this one. That will be a massive upgrade from this past Sunday. And Kenny Albert and Jonathan Vilma. The amount of people that hit me up on social media about Dion Branch. Yeah, it's Brian Branch. Remember last year, Vilma called him Jamar Gibbs. A little bit rough out there for Jonathan Vilma. All right, so yesterday after the game, Jeff Rieger from 97 won the ticket. And look, Jeff is a friend of mine. I have a tremendous amount of respect for Jeff. We've had him on the pod. He's a good guy. I like Jeff is one of my favorite people that I've worked with in radio in this town. And he's still in radio, and I think he does a good job. I know many people hate his voice. I know many people call him Kermit the Frog. Jeff can take it. Jeff was in the Ben Johnson press conference yesterday and flat out asked him, do you think the Lions and Dan Campbell ran up the score on you? To which Ben Johnson was like, what did you want him to do? And Rieger said, kick the field goal. They were up 45-21. And Ben Johnson, a little bit surly, but responded by saying, that's not what the Lions do. I don't blame them for going for the touchdown. That's not what they do here. They went for the touchdown and they got it, which the Lions did. Amon-Ra St.Brown's third of the game, and that really ran it up at 52-21. Ben Johnson didn't want to say it. I'll say it. Bro, you got your ass, you got run up on. You just did. All right. And the Lions were not just doing that for Ben Johnson. Maybe some of the defensive players thought so. The Lions were going to go for it if that was, Ben Raven, Ben Carter, Uncle Ben. All right. Ben Kehoe for all you 48 Hours fans. What a great movie with Eddie Murphy. So underrated. Anyway, then Rieger asked him, Jeff wasn't done. How demoralizing is this loss? So Jeff doubled down. Oh man, check. I'm doing a little hanging around. That was for you, Chris Druin. Little Teddy KGB, but seriously, Rieger asked how demoralizing it was, and he's like, "It's not demoralizing. It's one loss. We'll bounce back. It's early in the year." So Ben Johnson, he kind of got his lunch handed to him yesterday. He came back home, kind of strutted a little bit out onto the field, didn't talk to Megan O'Leary, the Fox sideline reporter at halftime, blew her off, and his team is 0-2, and they don't look good at all. At all. But I commend Rieger for asking those questions. Those are the kind of questions that you, the fans, want to hear. I didn't think Jeff was prickly about it or pricky about it at all. I thought this is what Jeff does. And I know there's some organizations in town that don't like Jeff, all right, because of the questions that he asked, but I thought that was a legitimate question. And if you're on Bears social media or you check out Recap with Dave Kaplan. Check out the recap video with Dave Kaplan as he eviscerates the Bears. And he's a Bears fan. He's a Bears homer. But Chicago, the first 2 weeks, gags away a division game at home and then gets just doors blown off of them in week 2. And looks like their defense laid down in the second half. So not a good start for the Bears at all. All right, tomorrow, Benjamin Raven covers the Lions for MLive.com. Also, the Dungeon of Doom podcast that he co-hosts with Corey Woods. Check that out as well. We always like to promote the other podcasts. Trevor and Glover Quinn on Believe and POD and Justin Rogers and that crew. A lot of good Lions material out there. But thanks for making us your first listen, everybody. Checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. We are back again tomorrow, right here on Locked on Lions. 1-1 Lions, 1-1 Ravens coming up on Monday.